Billy Graham's dark past. You won't believe this. He once said the church was for weak people. He wanted nothing to do with God. So how did a stubborn, rebellious farm boy become the most trusted preacher on earth? The boy before the pulpit. Before the world knew the name Billy Graham, he was just Billy Frank. Born on November 7th, 1918, in Charlotte, North Carolina. At a time when the world was suffocating under the Great Depression, there was nothing glamorous about his life. His alarm clock, 3:30 a.m., his playground, a dairy farm with 75 cows. And those cows didn't care if he was tired. They didn't care if he was sick. They didn't care if he had dreams. Life was hard, strict, unforgiving. His father, Frank, believed in discipline you could feel, not talk. No warnings. Action. At just 15 years old, Billy started sneaking alcohol. One night, his father found out. What happened next? Billy would never forget. Frank didn't shout. He didn't beat him. He said quietly, "If you want to drink, then drink." He forced Billy to drink whiskey, again and again and again, until his body gave up, until he was vomiting for hours, until the taste alone became unbearable. That night didn't just make him sick, it marked him. But the deepest pain wasn't physical, it was spiritual. The church felt like a prison. He would sit in the pew, restless, watching the clock. He tried joining a youth group once. They looked him up and down and said, "You're too worldly for us." Rejected, not by strangers, by the church. Something broke inside him, and he made a decision. Faith is for weak people, not me. First failure, Billy enrolled at Bob Jones College, hoping for freedom. Instead, he found rules. No dating, no movies, no fun, just discipline, everywhere. It felt like a spiritual boot camp. And Billy? He was drowning. He collected demerits like they were trophies. His grades were collapsing. His behavior was slipping. He wasn't just struggling, he was failing. After one semester, it was over. As he packed his bags in shame, ready to leave, a professor stopped him, looked him in the eye, and said, "Graham, you'll be lucky if you're ever more than a backwoods country preacher." Those words hit hard. They sounded like a verdict, like a life sentence, like the end. But sometimes, what feels like the end is actually the beginning, the turning point. Go back 2 years earlier, a tent revival, a preacher named Mordecai Ham. Billy didn't want to go, but his father insisted, so he went, reluctantly. Arms crossed, heart closed. Night after night, he sat at the back, unmoved, uninterested, unchanged, until one night. One sentence pierced through everything. "You're running from the only one who can save you." It hit him like lightning. Suddenly, all the noise faded, all the excuses collapsed, and for the first time, he saw himself clearly, not strong, not independent, lost that night. The boy who mocked faith, the boy who called God for the weak. I walked forward. His hands trembled. His heart is breaking. He didn't become a preacher that night. He became broken, and broken. It was exactly where God could begin. The two voices that shaped him behind every great story are unseen voices. Billy had two. His father, the anchor. Frank Graham was tough. He was the man who forced whiskey down his son's throat to teach him a lesson. But he was also the man who, during the Great Depression, took his life savings and sent Billy to the Florida Bible Institute, even after he had failed. Years later, when Billy returned home famous, preaching to thousands, His father handed him a shovel and said, "You're still my boy." No pride, no special treatment, just grounding. Frank died in 1962, but not before seeing the failure of a son stand before millions. Billy would later say, "My father's integrity was the standard I tried to live up to every day." His mother. The fire. If his father grounded him, his mother lifted him. Morrow Graham. Billy once said, "She was the best preacher in our family. She made faith come alive. Sunday afternoons weren't boring. They were adventures. She told Bible stories like epic tales, full of danger, heroes, and purpose." At age 10, she made him memorize scripture daily, verse after verse, truth after truth, filling his mind, shaping his soul. She fed his love for books, history, stories, anything. Billy later said, "She gave me my mental library." And when he stood before crowds of 100,000, he knew something powerful. While he was preaching, his mother was praying. He would say, "The secret to my ministry isn't me. It's my mother's prayers." The rise. The boy who was rejected by a youth group. The boy who nearly got expelled. The boy who was told he'd never amount to anything became a voice the world could not ignore. He preached to over 2.2 billion people in stadiums, on television, across continents. Presidents listened to him. Nations welcomed him. But behind the spotlight, there were still struggles. He wrestled with temptation. He wrestled with pride. He wrestled with doubt. He didn't become perfect. He became persistent. And in that wrestling, he didn't win. He surrendered. And somehow, that was the greatest victory of all. Closer. So if you feel too broken, too rebellious, too far gone, too much of a failure, remember this story. The boy who ran from God became a man who led millions to him, not because he was perfect, but because he was willing to be changed. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. Your past, it doesn't disqualify you. It prepares you. And sometimes, your lowest moment becomes the foundation of your greatest purpose. If this story touched you, don't scroll away. Take a moment. Like this video so more people can hear this message. Subscribe for more powerful, life-changing stories like this. Share this with someone who feels like they're too far gone. And I want to hear from you. Comment below. My past will not define me. Because today might be the day your story begins to change.